Welcome to Long Story Short. Today, we are traveling to a terrifyingly fast paced, screen obsessed vision of future America to dissect Ray Bradbury's dystopian masterpiece, Fahrenheit 451. Imagine a world where intellectual thought is considered a dangerous weapon, where firemen do not put out fires, they start them. On the surface, this is a sci fi thriller about government censorship. But just beneath the mechanical hounds and the wall-size televisions lies a furious, urgent warning about the death of critical thinking and the intoxicating, numbing power of mass media. We are going to break down exactly how a society willingly destroys its own mind and why this book is terrifyingly predictive of the 21st century. Long story short, Fahrenheit 451 is not just a book about censorship. It is an autopsy of a distracted society. It shows us that a government does not need to forcefully burn books if it can successfully convince the population to simply stop reading them. First, let's establish the temperature. The title refers to the temperature at which book paper catches fire and burns. In this dystopian future, reading, owning, or hiding a book is a severe crime. Our protagonist is Guy Montag. Montag is a fireman. He wears a helmet numbered 451, and his uniform is branded with the image of a salamander, a mythological creature believed to live in fire. Montag loves his job. He loves the smell of kerosene. He takes immense pleasure in kicking down doors and using his massive flamethrower to burn hidden libraries to ash. But Montag's entire worldview shatters when he meets his teenage neighbor, Clarisse McClellan. Clarisse is completely different from everyone else in this society. She does not watch the massive wall televisions. She doesn't drive her car at 100 miles an hour. She walks outside. She catches raindrops on her tongue. She asks Montag terrifying philosophical questions. Specifically, are you happy? Montag returns to his house and realizes the horrifying truth: he is not happy. He finds his wife, Mildred, unconscious on the bed. She has intentionally overdosed on sleeping pills. Mildred represents the absolute ultimate failure of this society. She spends her entire life with tiny radios called seashells stuffed in her ears, staring blankly at 3 wall-sized televisions in their living room, referring to the interactive digital actors on the screens as her family. She is so deeply numb to reality that she doesn't even remember trying to kill herself the next morning. The tipping point arrives during a routine fire call. The firemen raid an old house filled with hidden books, but the old woman who owns the house refuses to leave. Instead, she strikes a match and willingly burns herself alive in the house along with her books. Montag is deeply traumatized. He realizes that there must be something incredibly powerful inside those books if a person is willing to die for them. Before the house burns, Montag commits the ultimate crime. He steals a book and hides it in his coat. Montag's boss is Captain Beatty. Beatty is one of the most brilliant, terrifying antagonists in literature. He is highly educated and quotes literature constantly, yet he passionately hates books. Beatty visits Montag and explains exactly how their society became this way. It wasn't a tyrannical government that banned books at first. It was the people. As technology advanced, people demanded faster, shorter entertainment. Minorities and special interest groups complained that certain books offended them. To keep everyone happy and perfectly equal, society decided to burn all the books, eliminating complex thought and replacing it with mindless, high-speed sports and endless television. If Bradbury's incredibly poetic, urgent writing style is something you want to experience firsthand, and you really need to if you want to understand the terrifying accuracy of his predictions, I have linked the full audiobook and physical copy in the description below. Consuming the original text is the best way to understand Montag's desperate awakening. For now, let's look at Montag's rebellion. Montag retrieves a hidden stash of books from his air conditioning vent and tries to read them, but he cannot understand the dense philosophy. He seeks out an old, retired English professor named Faber. Faber explains that it isn't the physical paper Montag needs. It is the detail, the texture, and the critical awareness of life that books provide. But Montag's rebellion is cut short. Mildred, terrified of losing her comfortable screen-addicted life, betrays her own husband and calls the fire alarm on their house. Captain Beatty forces Montag to use his flamethrower to burn his own house to the ground. Beatty then discovers the secret earpiece Montag is using to communicate with Faber and threatens to hunt the old professor down. In a moment of absolute desperation, Montag turns the flamethrower on his boss. He burns Captain Beatty alive. Montag is now a fugitive. The government unleashes the mechanical Hound, a terrifying 8-legged robotic beast equipped with a hypodermic needle filled with procaine, programmed to track Montag's exact chemical scent. Montag flees the city, desperately scrubbing his scent with whiskey and plunging into the river to escape the Hound. He floats downstream, leaving the high-speed, neon nightmare of the city behind, and steps into the quiet, natural world. He discovers a group of wandering intellectuals sitting around a campfire. These are the book people. They are former professors and scholars who have memorized entire books, word for word, to preserve them for the future. Montag realizes that fire doesn't just destroy. When used properly as a campfire, it provides warmth and community. Suddenly, the sky above the distant city tears open. Enemy bomber jets, representing the long-ignored global war, drop nuclear bombs on the city, instantly vaporizing the mindless, television-obsessed society. Montag and the book people watch the destruction. As morning breaks, they begin walking back toward the ashes of the city, carrying the knowledge of the past in their heads, ready to help rebuild a society that actually remembers how to think. Clears throat. To guarantee an A on your final essay, you need to master 3 foundational symbols from this text. First, the mechanical Hound. This represents the perversion of nature by technology. Dogs are traditionally man's best friend, but in this society, the dog is an emotionless, 8-legged killing machine used by the state to enforce conformity. It symbolizes how advanced technology, devoid of human empathy, becomes a tool for total control. Second, mirrors. When Montag first meets Clarisse, he describes her face as a mirror. At the end of the book, the leader of the book people says they need to build a massive mirror factory so mankind can take a long look at itself. Mirrors symbolize the urgent need for self-reflection. The dystopian society relies on constant noise and screens to prevent people from ever looking inward and realizing how miserable they truly are. Third, fire. Fire has a dual meaning. For the firemen, it is a tool of censorship, destruction, and erasure. But for the book people, at the end of the novel, the campfire is a source of life, warmth, and illumination. Bradbury has shown us that power, whether it is fire or technology, is neutral. Its morality depends entirely on how humanity chooses to use it. The ultimate takeaway for your finals? Fahrenheit 451 is a chillingly accurate warning. It teaches us that true oppression does not require a dictator. It only requires a population that is too distracted by their screens to care about the truth. If you have a paper or a test coming up, watching a summary gets you the plot, but reading Bradbury's actual prose is where you master the material. Click the Amazon or Audible link in the description to get the full version of Fahrenheit 451 right now. That is the long story short. Please like and subscribe for more literature breakdowns. See you in the next one.